Welcome to the Female Founder Unplugged podcast, a show for women entrepreneurs who want to build, grow, and lead successful businesses and high-performing teams. I'm your host, Lindsay White, leadership coach and people strategy expert, here to bring you unplugged conversations with a variety of amazing guests who share expert advice and real actionable people strategies for your growing business. Ready to get unplugged? Let's jump in. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another fantastic episode of the Female Founder Unplugged, where we get real about being a female entrepreneur, how to lead, how to build incredible teams, how to grow beautiful cultures. And this week, the episode is all about positive intelligence. What I really think is the secret to being a resilient, high-performing leader and building a resilient, high-performing team that will ultimately help us grow and scale our business in the way we've always dreamed of. And so the idea in this episode is we're going to talk about positive intelligence, or PQ is what I'm going to call it. And I want to give you some insights into what it is, how it works, why it works, and break down, what the ROI is for you as a business owner. Like, what is the return on your investment, not just of time, but also of money and capacity? Because honestly, I think for most of us, the money is one thing, but it's actually, our capacity to add one more thing to our plate, especially as female entrepreneurs, as we're navigating some of these key leadership challenges in our businesses. Our business grows and changes. So that's what we're going to talk about this week, how positive intelligence is the secret to building your resilience. And we know that's key as an entrepreneur. So first and foremost, here's the question. Like, what if the biggest thing holding you back in business isn't the market, it's not the algorithm, it's not your team, or even your strategy? But what if it's actually your own mind? What if it's you? It's true, my friends. If you've ever felt like the self-doubt, the stress, the frustration, the overwhelm is the thing that's slowing you down, this is today's episode. This is what we're going to talk about, is how positive intelligence is actually the key to overcoming all of those things that keep us from building the business and being the leader that we want to be. And how do I know this? Because this is work that I have done, I continue to do, I lead other people's through. So I talked in the last episode about how I used positive intelligence to overcome a very recent, very significant, very deeply personal setback in my own business. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that episode, we'll link to it in the show notes. But I will tell you that very recently, it was like a kick in the gut for me. It was like someone just punched me. And it was deeply, deeply challenging ethically. My value of integrity was on the line. And those are the most challenging, most sticky moments for us as entrepreneurs. And without having already done the positive intelligence work for 3 years, without having my own mental fitness practice, I would have been in a saboteur shame spiral for days or weeks. It would have taken me forever to recover, because I already have this practice, because I've gone to the mental gym here and I've done the workouts and I've built up the muscle. I could recover faster and move forward more effectively. It still hurt, but I wasn't in a place where the hurt took over. And I know that for so many of us, 2024 was such an incredible roller coaster, right? It was so challenging. And we still continue to face those challenges. I mean, we're almost 5 years now out of COVID, but the market is moving, the political landscape geopolitics continue to evolve in a weird, mysterious way. And we're trying to keep up with trends on social media and that stupid algorithm we're all battling against. Man, and it made 2024 really, really challenging for so many of us. Well, that's what positive intelligence is all about, is helping us manage through those moments that are so difficult, and doing that in a way where we can find the gift and the opportunity as quickly as possible. We can pivot, and I know we all have a moment with that word, but we can actually take some of those setbacks and turn them into incredible wins. where we can focus, where we can see opportunities, where we can understand perspectives, and we can move forward into really focused action. And that's what we all want. That's why this work is so important. That's why I am so passionate about it, because I have felt the difference in my life, because I can pivot and move forward faster. I recover quicker from setbacks. I can see possibilities, even if they're weird and wild and wonderful. Okay. And so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to break it down a little for you so that you can understand how this program, this mental fitness program, can be of incredible value for you. So, first and foremost, what is positive intelligence? What the heck is that? And why do we call it PQ for short? That's weird. Positive intelligence is actually the PQ work is a measure of your mental fitness. So, for example, many of you are familiar with emotional intelligence, EQ. That's your emotional quotient, how much emotional capacity you have. PQ is exactly the same. It's how much mental fitness you have, right? How well you manage your negative thoughts that are generated by your saboteur and strengthen the positive ones that come from your sage. The coolest part about this work is there is real science here. There is really cool science, including neuroscience, cognitive behavioral therapy, performance psychology, positive psychology, like this whole bodies of research that the author of this work, Shirzad Chamine, synthesized. People spend an entire career just working on one part of one of those things. And so I love that. I love that there is real neuroscience, there is real work here that actually helps us understand that there are 10 ways we self-sabotage. There's the judge, and we judge ourselves very harshly, we judge others very harshly, we judge our circumstances very harshly. And we all have the judge. It's present for every single one of us. And then we have the accomplices. And there are 9 of those. The pleaser, the hyperachiever, the hyper-rational, the controller, the avoider, the victim. Oh my gosh, now I'm going to forget. The restless. Oh shoot, now there's 2 more. At any rate, all of these. And we have different saboteurs, different accomplices, and they sound different for each and every one of us. And that's what's really key here is understanding who are you working with? Who's in your head? Who's causing the trash talk in your brain? Right? And what triggers that? Sometimes it's words or phrases or circumstances. We all have those, right? And sometimes when we're in a space where we have additional stress or we're feeling really overwhelmed, that's what causes that saboteur conversation to really come to the forefront. And the truth is, so many of us actually don't have a great awareness. That is actually step number 1. We'll get to that in a minute. But the saboteur causes our overwhelm, our frustration, our anger, our guilt, our anxiety, all of those negative emotions, we can link back to the saboteur conversation. And when we can, through positive intelligence, access the sage, we access creativity, innovation, curiosity, resilience, and ultimately clear-headed, laser-focused decision making. And as an entrepreneur, that is where we are truly effective in our business. So imagine just for a moment being able to shift from the frustration and the overwhelm that we all feel into a calm, focused space in your head where you can solve problems, where you see with clarity what the solution is, and doing that within a few seconds. Like, just imagine what a shift that would be in your business and in your personal life. The cool thing is that's what positive intelligence allows us to do. So here's why it works, my friends. There's neuroscience and there's real practical integration inside of the positive intelligence bootcamp. It's like going to the gym only for your brain, right? And what we're strengthening here is your mental muscles. The PQ reps, which are little mindfulness moments Strengthen your ability to shift from negative to positive thinking in real time. You're actually rewiring your brain. This is the theory of neuroplasticity, that we have the ability to build new neural connections. That's what we're doing in the mental fitness gym. We are building new mental muscles, new neurons. It's super cool stuff, my friends. So there's three core mental muscles we work on inside of PQ. The first one is called the saboteur interceptor. It's recognizing and quieting those negative conversations, that internal trash talk. So the first step is getting up close and personal with your saboteurs. Who are they? What did they say to you? What do those conversations sound like? I will tell you that that is some of the hardest work we do, is actually tuning in to that trash talk in our own head. We may know it's present, but I'll tell you, in the boot camp, we get real close to it and it's hard. However, it leads to the second step, which is our self-command muscle. Now, who doesn't want to be in control of their own brain? The self-command is key, and we strengthen the ability for you to shift from the saboteur to the sage, to be in control of your own brain. This is where we build new neural pathways. And we actually get to be in charge of who's talking and what that conversation sounds like in our own head. It's amazing how, with only 6 minutes a day, we can actually start to really build some incredibly strong self-command muscles. And then the third muscle is the sage. And the sage is the opposite of the saboteur. This is a space where we cultivate deep empathy for ourselves and others, where we can be really deeply curious, just like a little kid, where we can be innovative, where we can navigate situations, where we can actually start to anticipate, what is our saboteur going to do in this circumstance? And we can find ways to circumvent that trash talky stuff in our own head. And then we get laser focused. We can make decisions with confidence. We can manage the risk. And let's be clear, as entrepreneurs, every decision we make has risk attached to it. It's when we allow that risk to be overpowering that we get frozen. But through building that sage superpower for ourselves, managing the saboteur conversation, we can manage risk and we can just be laser focused. That, my friends, is what moves us forward in our business. It's what strengthens our ability to be great leaders in our business and our life. It's what builds incredible cultures. So I will give you an example of a female founder who has really been able to leverage positive intelligence to transform their own leadership style and their business. So this was someone who I worked with in one of my earlier pods, and it was someone who was already a client. We had been working together for quite some time one-on-one. And I suggested to her that this positive intelligence boot camp, the 6-week boot camp, was actually something we should pause our one-on-one coaching and do this 6-week boot camp together. She should be a part of the program. And this is someone who we'd already been talking about the saboteur. This is part of my coaching work that I do all the time, right? This is always something we're after. But bringing her into the 6-week boot camp where we focused on the saboteur conversation exclusively, we worked as part of the group or the pod to help her understand, first and foremost, that she wasn't the only one with a saboteur, right? That's the cool part about doing this in group, is that actually we learn that everybody's got the conversation. It just sounds different. And we start to learn about other saboteurs that maybe aren't ours, but they certainly could show up in our kids or husband or partner or, our family or our network or our clients or even our own team. And what happened is she was able, first and foremost, to give herself some empathy. And this is one of the key steps. Giving yourself empathy. She'd been working so hard to build her business. The longing was incredible, but she was just working so hard and so much she was burning out. And so the first step was to give herself some empathy, that she just wanted this so bad. She really wanted to leave her full-time job that was unfulfilling for her. And she wanted to build her own business. She really wanted to create a legacy. and having some empathy for herself that that's what was underneath all this workaholic stuff, that her need to do this work was incredible. And then giving some empathy to the circumstance that, it was going to take time and that she needed a strategy and that that was okay because her saboteur was telling her that she wasn't doing it fast enough and that she wasn't working hard enough. But actually, she had a really clear plan and she needed to trust the process. And I'll tell you the end result is that she did make the leap and she did move from full-time work into her own business. And she's told me over and over again how valuable having this PQ work has been because we all know that starting a business is hard. And she's continued to rely on this mental fitness practice in order to do that. I think that's a really powerful story, my friends. That's why I share it with you because it's so important to understand that this works in every different circumstance. So, mental fitness isn't just a nice to have. And I think that example illustrates it perfectly. It directly impacts revenue. It impacts your performance as a leader, your team's performance, and ultimately it has significant impact on long-term success. So let's talk about some of those benefits inside of your business. First and foremost, we've already talked about it, but better decision making, less reactive, less emotion. Because the truth is, I see it over and over again. Entrepreneurs who make a decision based on emotional reactions. They're desperate, they're overwhelmed, they're overworked, they're exhausted, or they're terrified. And they make a decision that has long-term ramifications. And I will tell you, I've done exactly the same. I made the decision to work with a marketing coach before I had done this positive intelligence work. And it was at a time in my business where I was not feeling very good about what was happening. And I made the wrong choice and it cost me $10,000, my friends. So I have absolutely felt this. And what positive intelligence does, it just allows us to make better decisions, make them effectively, make them reasonably, and feel really confident about stepping into them. The second tangible benefit is strong leadership. When we feel like we are in control, when we have that saboteur conversation managed and we are really moving into that sage space, we communicate more effectively and clearly, and that reduces conflict. And it really creates a space where our team feels very inspired. They feel like they have direction. They feel like really supported. And again, that's not just in our work, it's at home, right? We feel like a more confident leader in our personal life, right? We feel like we can speak up for ourselves. We can hold boundaries more effectively. That's really important. The third benefit here is we have better resilience. We can handle the setbacks and really manage our stress more effectively. We don't get into the saboteur spiral. And we don't let our self-doubt, which is, again, the saboteur conversation, dictate our behavior and, most importantly, dictate our decisions. We bounce back faster. And I have felt that. Number 4 is it increases our productivity. When we spend less time in that negative saboteur shame space, we can move forward faster. We have, better focus. We have more confidence in our actions and our activities and our decisions. And ultimately, we get far better results. And when we get better results, what does that mean? That means more money on the bottom line of your business, more revenue. And of course, this work impacts team engagement, right? When we are leading from a sage space where we are being empathetic, when we are curious, when we are, noticing the world around us and what's happening in our team, we can communicate more effectively. And ultimately, we can have better conversations. And that's what helps our team, again, feel supported, feel accountable, but also feel the freedom to do what they do best. We create beautiful cultures where people feel like they can come and deliver their best work. And again, that impacts our bottom line because the people around us that are to support us, whether they're employees or consultants or contractors, when they feel like they get to show up for us and do their best work, that we are giving them great direction, when we are communicating, when the feedback is flowing, that's when people do great work. That impacts the bottom line, right? It is absolutely incredible how quickly and easily you can adapt this process to your daily life. So I want to offer you the opportunity to lean into your own mental fitness. So here's what you can try. What I want you to do is a quick little PQ exercise. Okay. So I'm going to do this with you right now. This is exactly what we would do in the boot camp. These are the kinds of things I do every single day. So I want you to sit up straight wherever you are, shoulders down, chest up, head straight. And I want you to just close your eyes and breathe. And as you're breathing, I want you to take your middle finger and your thumb, and I want you to rub them together. And what I want you to notice with just exquisite attention is every ridge on your fingers. And I want you to feel the ridges on your thumb and now the ridges on your middle finger. And congratulations, you have done a 10-second PQ rep. You have elevated your mental fitness in 10 seconds or less. That's wonderful. What we do is a very similar type of activity to what we just did now throughout the day for 6 minutes. It's as simple as that, my friends. 6 minutes. There's not much you can do in your life for 6 minutes that's actually going to change the way your brain works. And this is the thing. It's going to make you a better leader. It's going to make you a better parent. It's going to make you a better bestie. It's going to make you a better colleague. It's going to change the game for you. And it's 6 minutes a day. But how do you integrate this? How do you integrate PQ into your leadership? Well, first of all, I want you to stop and notice those negative saboteur thoughts, that trash talk that happens throughout the day. That's the first thing. The second thing is I'm going to put a link in the show notes for you to take the saboteur assessment. It takes 5 minutes, not hard. What it's going to do is it's going to help you understand your judge and which of the accomplices are causing you the most problems. And generally, there's a top 2 or 3 in the accomplices. We all the judge, but top 2 or 3 in the accomplices. If we can actually start to tackle that conversation from those top 3, the rest of them actually shut up, right? And once you do that, once you know who your saboteurs are and you notice those saboteur thoughts, the trash talk throughout the day, I want you to do those little micro moments of mindfulness, those little 10-second PQ reps. That's exactly what you have to do. You can rub your fingers together. You can just manage your breathing. Do the box breathing. 4 in, hold for 4, 4 out, hold for 4. Do that for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 minutes. That's all you have to do. That's the first steps. And then when you're ready to do the deeper work, it's all about doing that in the boot camp. And here's why this boot camp is absolutely critical. Because we combine the education, you get to learn about how to build the 3 mental muscles. At the same time, you are participating in the custom app that supports you with accountability 3 times a day to do the PQ reps, to build the mental muscles. And then we meet every week for 45 minutes as a pod. So there's a group aspect here where we can feel supported, where we can share and learn and grow together. And I will tell you, coaching these pods, I learn something new every single time. It is absolutely remarkable how the conversation is so rich and deep and connected. All right. So just to recap for you, first and foremost, mental fitness is the game changer for business success. Absolutely managing your positive intelligence is the key to helping you go forward faster and make more money. And positive intelligence isn't just a mindset shift. This is a practical, trainable skill. You are literally rewiring your brain through neuroplasticity. And there is real science backed in this program. And the ROI is real. You're going to be a better leader. You're going to build a stronger team, and you're going to have better performance. You're also going to be a better human. I think that's an important ROI we cannot understate. So I want to invite you to be a part of our boot camp that is coming up here in March. I already have some people that want to be involved. I keep these boot camps very small, so I only invite 8 people to be a part of the boot camp with me. If this is work you know you need to do, now is the time to do it. 2025 is the year for you to start to rewire your brain and build your mental muscles so that you can be more resilient. It's that simple. So, want to see how this can transform your business? Want to talk more about this? Of course, you can reach out to me. I'm always open to having this conversation. Do the saboteur assessment. Let's talk about who you're working with. And I'll put a link in the show notes so that you can reach out. If nothing else, my friends, please do the assessment. Look for the book. It's called Positive Intelligence, written by Shirzad Chamine. Put it on your reading list because this is key work for all of us so that we can be better leaders. We can build those high-performing dream teams we've always wanted, and we can absolutely build the business that we've always just really deeply longed to have, right? And make the impact in the world we know we can make. So thank you so much for being a part of the conversation today and just allowing me to talk about the positive intelligence work that has changed everything in my world and has changed everything in my business. And that I am so deeply passionate about sharing with female founders just like you, because I know it can have the same impact in your world. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Female Founder Unplugged podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening as much as I did hosting this conversation. I feel so lucky that I get to connect with such amazing female entrepreneurs. And if you enjoyed today's session, would you do me a big favor? Would you hit subscribe and give this episode a 5-star review? I'd also love it if you would share with your friends. We've got a goal here at the Female Founder Unplugged podcast to impact 1,000 female founders. And with your help, we can really amplify the message. Thanks again for being a part of the show, and don't forget to connect with me at highvoltageleadership.ca. We'll see you next week.